Alrighty, everybody, welcome into another episode of the Full Press Saints podcast, of course, part of the Full Press Coverage Network. What is going on, everybody? It is Alec here with Dayton and Matt today. We got a fun episode going on for you guys, recapping the Saints-Seahawks game from Monday Night Football, and the biggest news, and a surprise trade acquisition today that transpired with the New Orleans Saints. But before we get into all that, Matt, Dayton, super excited to have you guys on today. How are we feeling today?
We're feeling real good. We're looking at the details here on Full Press Saints Network today. You know what it is. It's good to see the boy back in town, and then it's always good to come on here after a win, no matter how ugly it is. And yeah, it's good times right now.
Oh, absolutely. And talking about a win, nothing better than that. Experiencing a win in person, I got to experience this past Monday night, my first NFL game, NFL first NFL victory for my favorite team. So I'm really excited to talk about that. And of course, back after we tried to come on last time, but technical difficulties unfortunately stopped it. So hopefully that sounds like it's changed as of right now, and it's going smooth. So hopefully that keeps up, because happy to be back. Always glad to talk about Saints football. So
yeah, we need a what's the word? We need a Saints offensive performance against the Giants from Dayton in the first half, not in the second half. That's what we need from your audio quality.
There you go.
Jokes, of course, but Dayton, you were at the game at Lumen Field up there in Seattle, man. And I know I've been to a few Superdome games, and I kind of have this feeling and this kind of perception that it's crazy in the dome. And I know how crazy it can be up there in Seattle. I've never been to a game up in Seattle. So how was it for you, in all seriousness? Like, was it as crazy and hyped up as, people made it out to be, or what was the feeling like up there?
It was a fantastic time overall. Of course, I'm native to the Pacific Northwest. It was only about a 2.5-hour drive up there for me to Seattle, up to Lumen Field. And I gotta say, definitely the way the stadium is set up obviously plays into it. It is an open roof. Some of the sides are covered, but a majority of the stadium is uncovered, and there is no actual roof. So the noise isn't able to really be contained as well as it is in the Superdome. And of course, I think if more points had been scored, the stadium would have been a little bit more rocking. But the only time it got loud to the point where I was at least, noticing how loud it truly was when Metcalf caught the touchdown down the sideline. Mm-hmm. Other than that, there really wasn't. Marshawn Lattimore getting booed, that made the stadium loud, but nothing was really deafening. And I'm part of a few Saints groups on Facebook, and I posted a bunch of pictures I took on there to the group, and I had a few people commenting, asking if the stadium, the same question you were kind of asking, like, how does the stadium at Lumen Field, noise-wise, compared to the Superdome? And I said, well, I've never been to the Superdome. It's actually my first NFL game, so I really can't compare. And a lot of people were commenting underneath saying, I went to Lumen Field. I went to the game on Monday. I've been to multiple Seahawks games, and I've also been to multiple games in the Dome. And I can leave the Dome with my ears ringing, a bad headache, just absolutely affected by the noise, by the crowd there at the Superdome, and at Lumen Field, it's just not at that level, not even close. And it's hard to get that close when your team only scores 10 points to Geno Smith as your quarterback, and you can't get a run game going, of course. But it was still a really, really fun time. Shout out to Sluggers, which is a bar right across the street from Lumen Field, which is where we got our drinks and food pregame, and it was a lot better. And the game flies by when you're actually at the stadium. So even though this game on TV, which I'm excited for you guys to actually break down, because, I've obviously seen the highlights, but, I watched it in person. It's totally different watching it in person than it is on TV. But you know what? The game kind of flew by there at the stadium, and it was a lot more exciting than I think it was for you guys watching at home. Obviously, a low-scoring affair, a lot of field goals. Neither offense could really get their footing for a lot of the game, even though there were explosive plays. But at the stadium, it was exciting. I think from the beginning to the finish, it was what's going to be happening here. Even though there were so many punts, it just kind of all flew by. So going to a game definitely changes it. Having a few beers at the game also, helps kind of, I'm sure, make the time go by a little bit faster, enjoy your time. But overall, it was a fantastic game. It was great to see the Saints win, and also great to see so many Saints fans there. It was about I'd say overall, after going over everything, during the game, before the game, walking around, it was probably a 70% to 30% Seahawks fans to Saints fans ratio there at the game. But it felt like it was more 60-40, honestly, with the amount of Saints fans I was seeing pregame. Ran into a whole bunch. Obviously, I think a lot, pretty much almost every Saints fan I would see, I would either approach them or they approach me saying "Who dat" or "Let's go" or whatever, even going into a deeper conversation. So that was awesome to experience. But I just ran into so many, and it was great. And I bought tickets for myself and my mom, who I brought up there, and she's a huge Seahawks fan. So, of course, a lot of Seahawks fans would approach us every so often. But just based off of the interactions I had, it felt like there were a lot more Saints fans than there actually were. But I only sat around 3 other Saints fans in the section I was, and I could only probably see another 10 to 20 within my, kind of side peripheral good view. So, but yeah, no, it was for my first NFL game. Couldn't ask for anything better. It was a great time. Really, really kind fans, by the way. Seahawks fans, they were very jovial. They were having a good time, joking back and forth, talking trash here and there. They would talk trash about their own team, talk a little bit trash about the Saints. I do the same, obviously, when we were getting our offense going and whatnot. So, just overall, really good experience, and it was a great game. And I'm just really glad the Saints came away with the win, though, man. No matter how ugly it kind of was, it was exciting for me to watch, regardless. And I cheered. I lost my voice by the end of the first quarter, and kept going though, and it was a really good time. So, but I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to hear you guys break down the game as well. From your guys' vantage.
And no bomb cyclones, right?
No bomb cyclone, amen. It rained before the game quite a bit. During the game, though, it was really just sprinkling. There was no really like big monsoon or anything. Like it kind of seemed like, because they were saying, I think the night before that I guess the day before, that it could affect the 49ers game down there in Cali, and then it could affect the Saints Seahawks game, but it ended up not being that bad. Now, there were dark clouds. I guess where would it be? North of us, there were a lot of dark clouds that seemed like they were kind of coming down towards us. But it ended up, and this was like right before halftime, but the clouds ended up just going around the stadium. So it was a little bit worrisome there for a second, but honestly, it was not terrible weather. Great football weather, honestly, is what it was. I think that's true football weather right there. The kind of wet, nasty rain kind of brought out, the grittiness in both teams, and whoever was going to win the trenches in that game was going to win the game. The Saints provided good enough protection for Winston for majority of the game. The Seahawks obviously didn't for Smith. He got sacked 5 times. So I think the Saints did their job. They found a way to win. You just got to find a way to win with this team, and that's what they did. So I'm really happy.
Ugly or not, that's all we can ask for. So, guys, obviously a 13-10 victory for the New Orleans Saints. Jameis Winston, 19-35 for 222 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, which, by the way, his 4th game without a turnover. The first time in his career, not the first time, but it's this 4-game ride with no turnovers is longer than his entire last 2 years of Tampa as a starter in 2018-2019. So, interesting about that. Alvin Kamara, 20 carries for 51 yards on the ground. They added 10 catches for 128 yards, the 1 touchdown on the ground. Wide receivers, I'm not going to talk about that. Very disappointing. The defense came alive Monday night. 5 sacks by this team, including just a hell of a game by Demario Davis, I might add, who 10 tackles, 7 solos, 2 sacks, 4 of those tackles were for losses. Malcolm Jenkins had a sack. Cam Jordan recorded his first sack of the season.
Who is that?
Tano added another sack, and I will say Marcus Davenport made himself known in the entirety of the night. I will
Who's
just
that?
Yeah. Overall, it was, you can look at it and go, as Dayton mentioned, just a real typical rainy weather type game where the offenses are struggling. It was a matter of which team was going to protect the quarterback, their quarterback the most, and get the most pressure, and the other team's quarterback, the Saints, ended up doing that the most. Matt, I'll turn it to you first. What were just some of your thoughts on this game in general? Who stood out to you? Who didn't stand out to you all that much? What were some of your thoughts for this 13-10 victory?
Of course, the main standout offensively is Alvin Kamara. He was the offense. He was the whole entire offense. And it's getting to a point now where his usage is just so high. I mean, even just rushing the football-wise, I think he's at 114 rushing attempts on the year, and the most he's ever had in a season is 194. So that's very scary.
I believe he's second to only Derrick Henry right now.
Yeah, so he's reaching like those Christian McCaffrey, Derek Henry usage levels, which with the new acquisition today hopefully should alleviate some things. And that's why I was kind of curious to hear about the weather from Dayton's point of view to see how bad it was, because you hear the announcers talking about the rain and the wind and saying how bad it could be. I mean, it obviously affects some of the kicking game because you saw the Seahawks kicker, his kicks got affected by the wind, I think.
Seahawks fans do not like him at all. I can tell you that much now.
I bet they don't. And I'm curious as to how much it probably affected the quarterbacks throwing the football. But, I mean, when it comes to kind of the short passes, the thing with Jameis is they wanted him to be they wanted the ball placement to be better, and there's definitely some balls, especially like that ball to Marquez Callaway that I can remember, the short throw where he threw it kind of far to the right, closer to the BB than actually towards Marquez. So he that's something that still needs to be worked on. I would like to see it again. And as Alec mentioned, the wide receivers, I mean, man, it's rough. It's rough out here trying to see when they tried out Kevin White. It's just rough to see, and you hope that at some point they're going to add someone. Maybe, I know Willie Sneed just got released. Maybe he can come in. I mean, at this point we're just grasping for straws, and everyone was like excited for Traquan Smith, and it's really bad when you're excited for Traquan Smith. That's how you know it's really bad. But offensive struggles aside, defense was amazing. Davenport showed up. He was getting pressures. He didn't really quite get the sack that he wanted. And Cam Jordan finally got his first sack, as you said earlier. That was good to see. And Demario Davis really turned it up in that second half, man. He was looking unstoppable out there. He literally pushed a guard right into the running back. He made the guard tackle his own running back. It was amazing, some of the stuff this guy was doing. He just turned on the Jets there at the end, no pun intended, since he's a former Jet. But yeah, the defense definitely stole the show here.
Yeah, defense saved the day. And it's not even funny because really the offense was just unimpressive. Outside of Kamara, obviously, just a very unimpressive offense from the lack of help and separation the receivers gave to Winston. Credit the Seahawks defense and their secondary for kind of getting pretty nice blanket coverage on this Saints offense outside of course, Kamara coming out of the backfield. Kamara's going to win that one-on-one battle with a linebacker majority of the time of safety to do coming out of the backfield. It's just great route runner, great balance, great finesse. I mean, he just has every tool in the tool shed that you need for that kind of offense. So I'm glad the Saints were able to run it. Getting back to the weather, I think and it's funny because in the game, I believe obviously kicking game and outside of it, the Seahawks were more affected by the rain than the Saints, which is ironic because the Seahawks really should be much more used to it than the Saints. But I think it just shows the Saints, experience, coaching staff. They were just much more prepared to go out there and win the game and have a game plan where they can try different things here and there and figure out what works against the Seahawks defense. And the Seahawks defense or Seahawks offense was not able to get it going against this absolutely fantastic Saints defense, like I mentioned, that saved the day. Outside of that play for Metcalf, the Seahawks offense could not get anything going. And the other field goal that they got was because of a Troutman fumble, which, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like he was down. Watching it on the stadium Jumbotron, to me it looked like he was down. I don't know why they didn't. I didn't hear any TV broadcaster get an explanation. I don't know why they didn't review it to see if he was down. Obviously, the Seahawks snapped the ball quickly, but I don't know. I feel like he was down. So those 3 points also, I mean, almost weren't even, gonna be counted if that turnover didn't happen. So, but yeah, for the weather, I feel like the Seahawks were way more affected than the Saints, and it didn't really feel like it affected much of us in the stands because it was raining a lot more pregame than during the game, and up here in the Pacific Northwest, we were obviously very accustomed to the rain. It really wasn't that bad, but I feel like it would be much worse for somebody who's not used to this kind of weather. But clearly, it was the opposite in the game, so the Saints took advantage of that. And also, Jameis Winston yelling at Traquan Smith.
Loved it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. That's memeable. Number one, that's a fantastic meme. You can put whatever caption you want over that. It's going to be pretty funny. Seeing Jameis eyes widen like that after the reply, whatever Traquan Smith said, that was something else. That is like TV gold. So, yeah.
It just add on to that. I love how Sean Payton let him do it. Like Sean turned around,
absolutely,
and
he was like, "Oh, it's Traquan."
He's like, my quarterback, get on to him as he should be. So, because Traquan had a very, very lackluster, disappointing night. I don't think anybody had high expectations that he was coming and immediately change his passing game for the Saints. But come on, the first series out there, he has the big post route where he beat the corner and the ball was out there a little too far, but it was that's a chemistry communication thing. Him and James will get on that, and the drop later in that same series, I believe. And then later in the game, in that fourth quarter, you had that horrible pass interference call, which to me made I don't know what the guy's doing, So overall, the receivers, man, Traquan was disappointing. Callaway had the one nice catch. Kenny Stills had a big drop. Kevin White had a big drop. And look, man, if you're going to go out there, the receivers, they had what? 3 catches by the road, 4 catches from wide receivers.
Wow.
Monday Night Football. Kamara had 10, Trotman had 3, Juwan Johnson had 1, and Ezigbo had 1. Stills had 3 targets, Kevin White had 2 targets, Callaway had 7 targets, Traquan 3. So, obviously, I've said it numerous times on here. We have the absolute worst wide receiving core in the NFL. There's no ifs, ands, or buts now about that. Even with Michael Thomas, it is still one of the worst. And that's being very generous because we haven't seen Mike play football in a long time. We should know what shape he's at and how the chemistry with Jameis will be once he's inserted back in the lineup. Trotman had the big fumble. And, man, Trotman was getting to a groove, in the middle of that game. And then he has the big crucial fumble. And
was he down or am I crazy? Like, what
he
was
definitely
the
fumbled.
consensus?
Man. Let me. Here, this is what we're gonna do. Let me just YouTube it real quick for the sake, because I want to say I believe he was, but let me Adam Trotman fumble.
The ball got hit out by the DB or whoever that was tackling him, from what I remember.
Let's see. I will mute that because I don't need that playing in the background. Where's that Trotman fumble at? It was in what, the fourth quarter? I know I found it. Let me see. First of all, the guy is charging at 4 Seahawks players, which is a no-no. You don't do that.
Right.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. 28 from Seattle hit that ball perfectly.
Oh, come on.
As Trotman's, being flipped in the air. No, that's a fumble.
Well, that sucks. Man. Pulled a Julio Jones.
But, to me, this defense won them the game, as you both have mentioned. DeMar Davis had, a hell of a game. Really kind of, had the impact and ultimately have made the place to win this game. Marcus Davenport, to me, looked very, very dominant in his first game back, coming off injured reserve. Pete Warner, Paulson Adebo, every week I watch these two kids play more and more and more. I get more and more confident and impressed with the Saints front office and Jeff Ireland because they did a tremendous job drafting these kids. And they just see things we don't at the time, and that's fine and cool because they know a lot more than we do, obviously. Lattimore, I thought, locked down DK Metcalf. I know everybody's going to look at... And we could agree that was a PI, right? DK threw that arm down on Lattimore.
Yeah, he's pushed
I like
down.
the no call, but
Marcus Williams also took a terrible angle on that.
Yeah.
oh yeah, come on, that's his MO now.
He makes crazy interceptions, but I mean, yeah, you don't want that man tackling you at an angle because you will miss, or he will miss. But Laddie had a tremendous game besides the touchdown of DK Metcalf. I feel good about this team going forward. I really do. I think once this team gets the offense figured out, this is going to be a team that can make the playoffs and maybe make some noise. Who knows? But any other thoughts on the Seattle game, gentlemen?
I would like to say, just in general, that I think we would all love even just some Kobe Fleener type production right now.
It's just straight for Jimmy Graham.
From Kobe Fleener, and it'd be nice even like if we didn't end up cutting Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, he's doing real good on Buffalo right now, and
yeah,
I would love to have him right now. But my main takeaway is that the Saints need to trade, sign, and draft a wide receiver or tight end. Do everything you can to get multiple offensive weapons, and because they're very much needed.
Yeah. It's the talent level. I mean, come on, it's just because you can get guys, put them in your system, get them in the later rounds or mid rounds, and groom them to be really good players, coach them up to be really good players. The Saints really don't have time for that. They didn't really have time for that either, even with Michael Thomas producing at what he was. I mean, that's why they had to go out and get guys like Emmanuel Sanders and guys like Jared Cook to help in the vertical passing game and just the passing game overall. And now they're stuck with guys who, really are hopefully going to get better, but, the Saints need talent right away. So, yes, drafting a guy, signing a guy, using high draft picks, using, a good amount of money to go and get a good wide receiver because New Orleans is a wanted destination. That is a big need. Willie Sneed, by the way, signed with the Panthers practice squad a little bit after he got released. So he's going to be there for now. So that's going to be interesting. But, yeah, the Saints absolutely need help in the wide receiver game. That Kenny Stills drop sucked. That Kevin White drop was not great as well.
Why is Kevin White on this roster? Why is he on this practice squad is my question.
I didn't even know that was – I didn't know who 17 was while I was watching the game. I've got to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, once Chris Hogan retired, he had to get moved up, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
I got 3 more game balls to give out here. Calvin Throckmorton, who people aren't talking about it enough.
Oh yeah, Pete's out.
He is filled in very, very, very admirably for Ruiz and now for Andrews Pete in the majority of the season this year. I think PFF is graded. They're giving him pretty solid grades. I don't know the numbers exactly off the top of my head, but he's getting pretty generous grades from them. And look, he's looked good so far. Brian Johnson, our new kicker for the year, evidently. Will Lutz is now out for the year after suffering what's the word?
Setback.
Thank you. In his rehab. So Brian Johnson 2 for 2 along with 33 yards and including the game winner. And once again, Blake Gillikin, man. 6 punts. It was a game of punting because check this out. Gillikin 6 punts for 285, 4 of them inside the 20 with a long of 58 yards. And then Michael Dixon from the Seahawks, 5 punts, 242, 1 touchback, 3 of them inside the 20 with a long of 65. It was a punting game. So I'd love to see it. We have our punter. We have that figured out. We don't know who our receivers are. We're trying to figure out if our quarterback is the quarterback of the future, but damn, you better damn know we have a punter figured out. So.
Absolutely. Always have. Always have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they knew what they're doing last year, stashing Gillikin on injury reserve. So, obviously, guys, the news broke. The Saints have indeed traded for Houston Texans running back Mark Ingram, longtime Saint. Some can argue probably should have never left the building after the 2018 season, but that's just how things happened and transpired. He is back now, nonetheless. I'm sure this is the first time. I'm gonna say this real quick. I've never seen like Saints Twitter like so joyously unanimously happy about a decision. Like I can't think of another time they traded for someone mid-season where everybody was just so hyped about it. You know?
Yeah. For sure. Quan was big, but this was an even bigger scope of a reunion.
This is a feel-good story. I believe the terms are not out yet at this moment as we're recording, so we don't know. I believe there's a couple of late-round picks is what Paracello reported, I believe. But nonetheless, Mark Ingram is back, which, as Matt mentioned earlier, will help out with the usage of Alvin Kamara. Probably expect him maybe in the passing game a little more involved heavily, since now you have your bell cow to take it up the middle. So guys, Mark Ingram is back. What are some of your general thoughts on this trade? How does it help the team going forward? And it's such a feel-good story to have Mark Ingram back.
Yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, it's definitely going to help with the Alvin Kamara usage, where he can be more utilized in the passing game than just being a main rusher and running the ball a lot. Because I mean, it didn't work too well in the Seattle game, and I mean, the Seahawks' run defense isn't really that great. But I mean, not really bashing Kamara there, but definitely he's way more dynamic as a receiving back. And I mean, just going back to when Kamara and Ingram played together, boom and zoom, it was amazing them teaming up together. And then Mark Ingram is also like 89 yards away from being the all-time Saints leading rusher, passing Deuce McAllister. So that's going to be definitely something to see. Whenever that could break, it could maybe take 1 to 2 games, possibly even. And I know right now, some people might say Mark Ingram's washed or something, but I mean, he's facing through the Texans game. I think I saw the stat on Twitter where he's facing a stacked box 62% of the time, and he's still averaging 3.2 yards per carry, and that 62% of the time against stacked boxes is leading the league by far. So good to see, and I'm very excited to have Mark Ingram back. He's one of my favorite players of all time. He's very hype. I love his personality. I like having him back on the team, and it's going to be awesome. And I wonder if CD Deuce is going to fork up the number. It seems like he wants to get paid for it. I think he made a tweet about it.
He did say he likes the number 8.
Okay, that'd be interesting.
But then he said, "Hit me up after that." So obviously there's gonna be some steak dinners or some kind of payout involved for that number 22 or 28.
Just have him go on to the Trust Levels podcast. That'd be some good stuff with
there you go.
him and Cam Jordan and CD. But yeah, I'm excited, and this is definitely really going to help the offense as far as the running game since Tony Jones has been out. We've been missing that second running back, and I know they called back up Ozigbo, but you know, Mark Ingram's just gonna fill that role a whole lot better. It's just the perfect guy. And some people might have thought maybe they'd get Marlon Mack, but that didn't come to fruition. And we went out and got that guy, Mark Ingram, and I'm excited about it. I can't wait.
Yeah, the reunion is just, I mean, absolutely shocking, yet at the same time, it's not just because this was kind of put into the air so much by Saints fan that it's coming to fruition. Mm-hmm. The reunion of this, obviously, Kenny Stills coming back. That's another thing a lot of Saints fans had been chiming for a while. He ends up getting signed coming back. So, I love the move. I'm sure the 2 late-round picks will be totally worth it, just for his locker room presence by itself. But, yeah, he's a great guy for ground and pound. He's a great compliment to Alvin Kamara. I also love how the Saints were able to utilize Mark Ingram in the screen game, and that can be nice against stacked boxes and obviously blitzes. Yep. So the Saints are able to see a lot of that, get Mark Ingram going downhill. He is just a great runner in that situation. And, even though he might have lost half a step, since he's last been on the Saints, but he was great his first season with the Ravens, obviously one of the best rushing attacks in the league while he was on the team. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he had quite a few healthy inactives with the Ravens at one point. And then obviously he signed with the Texans this past offseason, was sharing a backfield with Philip Lindsay and David Johnson. Texans get some late round picks in, and then the Saints are going to obviously hope that Ingram fills a little bit of a void there on the offense to get it going. And I feel like he will, just at what level, and will it be enough? When will Mike Thomas actually come back? That is a big part of this offense that I think will really get it going. Sounds like week 9 is the first week he'll probably be back, but we'll see. So, but I love Boom and Zoom getting back together. How can you not love the move? I mean, come on.
Yep. And I don't think I'll add on to this. Let me see if you guys agree with me or not. Since Ingram left in 2018, I feel like this offense has lost like a little, like excitement, enthusiasm, like a hype man. Like Ingram was the hype man for this offense when he was here. He was the guy getting everybody pumped up and just kind of like a real happy going, cheerful guy to have on the sideline. And with Drew Brees gone, not necessarily the leadership void, but kind of just like, because I think leadership is there with Jameis Winston. He's getting a more grasp of this offense. I think Teron Armstead, he's been there for a long time. He knows how this offense works. But to have like a hype man, a guy to just, to dab everyone up on the sideline, dab them up in the huddle, and just, I think we've been missing that since Ingram left.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, yeah, who else is Kamara is the biggest personality on this. I guess you can kind of throw Winston in, but they're not big personalities as in out there and, leadership. Obviously, they're good leaders, but Ingram is just so vocal and out there and letting his personality, actually shine through in his goofy side. It really gets guys together and, really forms a brotherhood. And very comfortable, absolutely. Mark Ingram will make anybody feel comfortable. So, having that back, Mark Ingram will obviously be much more happy being on a team that has the record of the Saints versus, the Texans record. And then, being back home, that's where he spent a majority of his years. He spent more years in New Orleans than he did playing for Alabama, where he was a coveted star Heisman Trophy winner. So it's very near and dear to him. So I'm happy for him to be back overall. And I mean, hopefully he just retires as a Saint. Hopefully the last few years is just going to be him as a Saint, and then he retires and as the leader all time Saints rusher. That's going to be awesome to watch. So
he needs,
and Kamara's 5th on that list. I'm pretty sure.
And he'll pass him. He'll probably pass him at some point. But for now, Mark Ingram, 89 yards behind Deuce McAllister to be the all-time leading rusher in Saints history. I'm just so glad he's back. There's no real way to describe. Who's next? Who do we want to see this team bring in next?
Well, I mean,
Junior Galette.
No, that's not. I mean, we saw Brandon Cooks. Oh God.
Cooks. Yeah, Cooks is mad. By the way.
Yeah, he's not happy about him losing Ingram.
Cooks is not happy, and I know we had one wide receiver that was kind of had a disgruntled exit with Kenny Stills come back. So maybe Brandon Cooks is catching the flight or catching a car ride home since it's not that far away. With Mark Ingram going to come back down to New Orleans, that'd be.
I saw a tweet that said, it said someone told Mark Ingram to put Cook's small ass in his luggage and bring him down.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that'd be. I feel like him and Jameis would be a definite combination for sure. That'd be awesome. I mean, Sneed's on the Panthers practice squad, as Dayton said, and
in the practice squad, you couldn't have him.
Yeah, you couldn't have him if he's just on the practice squad.
The active roster, but
I feel like at this point, I don't know. You'd think they'd probably have to trade for someone, but I don't know if they're going to make a move to trade for anyone now that they traded for Mark Ingram. And I mean, they've already given up a third for Bradley Roby too. So, but the Saints are always pretty active mid-season with trades. Yeah, they always work the phones. So it could happen. We could go out there and get a wide receiver. I don't really know who would be available off the top of my head. I mean, the only guy that just comes to mind is just from Brandon Cooks is just with everything going on. But that's just that'd be awesome to see. But I mean, as far as any other reunions possible, I'm not sure if they would happen. I mean, those are the two main guys Saints Twitter is going on about is Sneed and Cooks.
I want Cooper Kupp.
Oh, gosh.
I know he's not available. But I want Cooper Kupp.
All right, you can want things, Dayton, but that doesn't mean you won't get them.
I'm just saying.
I mean, if you want Cooper Kupp, I want Jamar Chase.
There you go.
Let me see. I can quickly look up some of these guys who could be traded. Oh, no,
Like available?
Can I sell you one OBJ?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
know.
we'll take anybody at this point. Beggars
Right.
can't be choosers, right?
Right.
But am I begging? Personally, no. I think once MT gets back, things will start to open up, and we can make a smaller move if we wanted to. But I mean, the trade line is in 6 days? It's after this. It's November 2nd, so you only have so much time. So the Saints are probably, if they are going to make a move, which there are no confirmed reports that the Saints are going to make a move, by the way.
Right.
Nick Underhill has reported that they should. A lot of people have said that the Saints should. Obviously, they said about cornerback help too, and it happened over the offseason. They did get help via trade. Could happen, but the Saints, if they are going to be making a move, they are on the phones right now, and nothing has been confirmed yet. But, obviously Peyton and Loomis, they're always looking. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're on the phones talking about trading for a plethora of players right now.
Yeah, the thing with the Saints is you don't really ever. I mean, sometimes you'll hear a rumor here and there, but for the most part, they kind of keep it hush hush. You don't really hear much about trade rumors. Like this Mark Ingram thing came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it at all.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And
even dating.
It came out months after the draft that they were working the phones for one of those corners.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even dating back to the Jimmy Graham trade, that just came out of nowhere too. Like no one. I don't recall seeing any rumors about that happening. I mean, it's just crazy how stuff can just come out of nowhere with this front office. So you never know. They keep us guessing.
All right, I got a list of receivers here. I'll list off to you guys. You just give me a yes or no if you're interested. All right.
Okay.
All right. Cowboys wide receiver Michael Gallup. I actually would be very big on this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I honestly wouldn't mind that.
For the 1 year rental, yes, because he is going to be a free agent next year, and
Right.
somebody's going to pay him. But for now, I would take Michael Gallup. Allen Robinson.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. Again, beggars can't be choosers. It's only going to be a few. He's only got a few good years left in him, but I mean, it could definitely be a benefit for the Saints. So.
Yeah, I agree. Brandon Cooks. We're all on board. Yes, for Cooks.
Yes.
I'd take him.
Okay, this where it gets interesting now. The Dolphins wide receiver Devontae Parker.
Yeah, I'd take him.
Yeah.
As long as he's healthy.
Are you guys just saying yes to every receiver I list off?
I mean,
Pretty much.
I mean, we're at that point.
we're at the point
Unless
where
you say
literally-
Chris Hogan. I mean,
Yeah. We're at the point where literally anyone you tell me, I'm just
Anyone
gonna
who's
be like,
better
yes.
unless
the
you
guy
say
you
Cole
know.
Beasley. Unless you say Cole Beasley, I'm saying yes to every single one of these guys.
Hey, you're right about that one. You ain't wrong about that one, Dayton. You're right. Jets wide receivers Jamison Crowder or Denzel Mims.
Yeah, I'd honestly take both. Package them both here. Do a Max Scherzer, Trey Turner trade for both of those guys.
Yes.
Send them over.
God, we are so Broncos wide receiver Tim Patrick.
Yeah.
How is
He's
he?
cheap.
Is he? What is he utilized in Denver? Is he?
He's the two right now.
Is he more of a slot guy, or is he? Is he an outside guy?
He's an outside guy.
Oh yeah, I'd take him.
He's an outside guy. Him and Cortland Sutton are the two massive beasts in Denver. God, I want Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
I would take.
I've
Cortland
watched a
Sutton
lot of
so
Cortland
bad.
Sutton. I haven't watched much of Tim Patrick, even though I know he's great. And two first names, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So I'd take Tim Patrick.
I wanted Sutton when he came out of SMU so bad.
Yeah, he's really
bad.
good.
I wanted it. Because, quick story, my dad, I live down here in the Dallas area. My dad, he works weekends, SMU home games. So he kept telling me every week that, hey, this Sutton's kid's going to be good when he went in the draft. And I was like, let me watch some tape on him. And I was like, holy cow. Draft this man. And we did. And I was like, well,
Nice.
we'll get him in 4 years.
You know who else went to SMU?
What's his name? The guy who ruined the program. What is
Well,
his name?
well, Emmanuel Sanders went, and also Cole Beasley went to SMU.
No, I thought you were talking about what's his
Just
name.
doing a full circle.
What is his name? Now it's bothering me. The guy who ruined SMU back in the 80s.
You talking about from the Pony Express documentary, the 30 for 30 thing?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. People say
I don't know his
USC.
name.
People say USC got the wrong end of the stick. God, SMU got destroyed back then. Granted,
Death
it
penalty,
was wrong. Granted, it was wrong. But
Death penalty. They called it
yeah.
a death penalty.
Yeah, that's rough. Okay, guys, I think that's a good way to end this with the death penalty about SMU.
All right. Yeah.
Any last words or notes on anything that's going on with the Saints here, gentlemen?
Evan Ingram has been rumored as well to possibly be on the move. I'll put that out there. I'm good as well, but I'm just saying that is something that's been out there. But hey, go Saints.
I'd rather play Trotman, and we've seen how bad Trotman is. I'd rather play Trotman.
Hey, to Evan Ingram's credit, that one year when the Giants literally had no one else to throw to, they could throw to him and he would put up some stats.
Okay, well, here's the thing about Evan Ingram, right? Okay, we'll say this real quick. I actually might be on board just because when you look at his entire career, coaching and offensive coordinator-wise, he's had some pretty bad coordinators. Obviously, there was Garrett. There was Pat Shurmur was there for a year or two, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Then who did he play for before? Or has he always been on the Giants?
No, he's been a Giant. He got drafted for the Giants.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, he has not had like the best coaching and nor the offensive scheme that utilizes him. But having said that, he drops a lot of footballs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe we just swap tight ends. Maybe they do that. But yes, I think that's going to end things here. So no Evan Ingram on the Saints, please. We'll drop a Bucks preview later on this week. It'll be lots of fun on Halloween. We'll talk about the Brady and the damn. One more thing, guys, really quick. Just thought about this. Did you guys see the story about the Buccaneer fan who exchanged the $600 Tom Brady game ball?
Yes.
Did you see what he got in return?
I know he got a full Bitcoin.
Yeah. So he got a full Bitcoin, right? Which right now is worth like $63K.
Yeah.
He got season tickets for the rest of this year and next year. He got a $1,000 shopping credit at the team store, which only gets you like 2 jerseys, but still. He got a Evans autographed jersey and the game cleats. And then he got a Brady autographed helmet and I believe 2 jerseys.
So he got a bunch of Bucks merch and a Bitcoin. Miss me with the Bucks merch. Just give me the Bitcoin.
But I'm asking this:
Right.
what would it take for you guys to give up that game ball? If you were that fan, let's just say, what would it take?
I'm pretty sure that ball, if you were to keep it and sell it, I don't know what the legal ramifications are because I'm pretty sure the NFL is entitled to that ball, whether or not Mike Evans gave it to him. But pretty sure that ball is going to, if it were to sell, between $750,000 and $800,000 because there are lesser important footballs that had been sold regarding touchdown milestones for about $500K to $600K. So this would go obviously north of that. So with and obviously the Bitcoin can go to whatever. I mean, that stuff fluctuates in terms of how much it is. Obviously, it's currency, so he could end up selling it for $2 million 10 years down the road. I don't know how it's going to turn out. So, that's a TBD type thing. But, the Brady jersey, the fact that they're giving it he gets to keep one and then I would sell the other, make some of that money back as well. Bucks merch is all right. But, I don't know. It would take a little bit more for me to get it. But I don't know if did they not discuss this in the locker room before? Like, hey, Brady's about to hit a milestone. Do not give the ball to fans. Score a touchdown from Brady, give it to the refs or give it to somebody. Somebody will come onto the field and grab the ball from you, okay?
That's a good
Mike Evans clearly either did not listen or they didn't tell him. It's like, what the heck?
I'll tell you what I would trade it for. Like if just hypothetical, if it was the Saints and the Saints came to me and said, "Hey, what do you want for us to take this ball?" I'd say, "Give me a job with a starting salary of at least 40K, where I can work for
Ooh,
you guys."
Wow. Look at
okay.
Matt. Look
Make
at
me a
Matt.
scout.
Look at Matt thinking beyond.
Yes, that's
how
such a
you
great
win.
idea.
That's how you win right there.
Yes, that'd be
Tell him make me a
amazing
scout, and
to
then
work.
prove your worth, and then you'll be GM like in 25 years.
I would just love to just see the number crunching that goes on in the GM
Yeah,
office with the cap situation. That'd be amazing.
I would be the coffee boy, hands down, man.
Hey, as long as they're paying me pretty decent, where I can just leave
Absolutely.
and I can work for the Saints, that would be just
That'd be
a
the
Yes.
dream.
dream.
That'd be the dream.
Yes.
Equipment manager.
That's
I'd be equipment manager.
that's funny. Okay, no, I think seriously that's how we're gonna end it. That just popped in my head. I was like, let me ask you guys this, see what they think. But great answers by both of you guys. I think for me, I would keep the ball. The ball's just too much to give up.
It is a lot.
It is a lot. Maybe down the road I'd sell it because it's Tom Brady. But no, when he gets in the Hall of Fame, that's when you sell it officially.
Yep.
But yeah, great stuff there, gentlemen. Like I said, later on this week we'll be dropping a Bucks preview episode, so make sure you tune into Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts at. We will have that up and ready for you guys. Right in time for the weekend and Halloween. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at SaintsFPC. We got tons of great stuff going on with you guys. And Matt will actually be at the Bucks game on Saturday or Sunday. I mean, so follow us on Twitter. He will be dropping live videos, photos, things like that. While I'm at the Dome, so it's lots of fun. Dayton, Matt, my voice cracked. Jeez, awesome to have you guys on. And we'll do this again next time.
Yes, sir.
Who that?